enlighten us in that areas. Thank you.
Brendan Burns.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm very pleased to take a call in this Part 3 debate on the remedial matters and abolition of gift duty clauses of the Taxation, Tax Administration and Remedial Matters Bill, and come to the issues around the abolition of gift duty. And I have to say that I think the Minister is not giving the fullest picture on these issues. The fact that gift duty only raises about $1 million or $1.5 million a year isn't the only point for consideration. Actually, what gift duty does is exists to prevent tax avoidance and structuring. And what we are doing by scrapping gift duty is opening a way to more tax avoidance and structuring. And we have to remember, and it's at the heart of why Labor is opposing this part of the bill, is that we've seen 2 rounds of tax cuts for top income earners. And I think there is starting to be a chorus of voices being heard on ongoing tax reductions for those at the top end of town. You only needed to read today's press, I know, probably in the Dom Post as well, the commentary from Warren Buffett, the wealthiest man in the world, commenting that he wants to pay more tax, should pay more tax, is paying half the tax rate of his secretary, and he thinks it's wrong. Wrong, wrong, wrong. And when you abolish tax on gift duty taxes, you are actually furthering the ends of people like that. And if you think this is only relating to Warren Buffett, take another look. If you look at last Sunday's Sunday Herald on Sunday and a column from Bernard Hickey, who noted that we have in fact a situation in this country where a change has happened over the last 20 years. The top 1% of income earners are now taking more than double what they were taking in the mid-1980s. They are now taking nearly 14%. 14% of income in the hands of the top 1% of income earners has doubled since the 1980s in this country. In America, it's 20%, so Warren Buffett's doing particularly well. But there are many other people in this country who are benefiting from tax breaks like being passed by this government under this changes to the Taxation and Administration and Remedial Matters Bill. And it's just not appropriate at this point, most particularly in our economic and financial cycles, when we have this country doing it tough, to send a signal to people at the top end of town that we're going to give you not just 2 rounds of income tax cuts for you, we're also going to pass a bill which allows you to effectively continue structuring things in a way which won't be subject to the scrutiny of the IRD. That is why Labor is opposing this bill. It is wrong, wrong, wrong to continue piling money into the accounts of people whom, as Bernard Hickey has observed, are already getting 14% of the national income, 14% in the hands of 1% of the population, are doubling since the 1980s, and I challenge any member opposite to stand up in this House and say that is fair, that is the kind of New Zealand that they truly want to live in, because when you get extremes of wealth on one hand, and you will get then resulting extremes of wealth, of poverty rather, on the other. And I've seen that kind of split in society. I lived briefly in South Africa in the 1980s. That is the kind of split which sees people with barbed wire fences around their homes in the leafier suburbs of town, and we see people rioting on the streets because they just don't think they're getting a fair shake. And maybe we've seen some portent of that in Britain in the last couple of weeks too. We need to have an equitable society, and gift duty may not be an income earner of any real recourse to the IRD, but it's there for another reason. It's there to try and ensure that people do pay their fair share of tax, that people don't structure and avoid tax through estates. That's the reason for it. And in fact, the analysis, it shows why it is important. When you get $70 million being spent to avoid $1 million of tax, what does that say? It says that there must be some considerable benefit to people, for that amount of money to be being spent to try and protect them from tax of that level. And I say to this Parliament, we have got a situation when you get observers like Bernard Hickey from interestrate.co.nz saying that we've actually got a situation in this country where we've got 14% of the money...
Order. I'll ring the bell. The member should sit down. Mr Robertson, were you seeking the call? Grant Robertson.